did most of my high school on that just because of my health, as we do. But, that turned out to be a really good thing because I've always been fairly well self-motivated. And I managed to get through all 5 years of high school in 3.5 just because, of course, you could work at your own pace. And when, of course, you're living on a farm in the middle of nowhere and you're not particularly into animals and whatnot, and except for the consumption of them, of course, then, you pretty much just sit around and work all day because you don't have a lot else to do. And at 16, I got set up with Rebecca there to go to the St. Mary's prom. So that was an interesting experience, just one of those things that, we all like to do at that age. And then there's some of the interesting things I sort of did at, this was just before I went to uni when I decided I would just shave half my face and walk around for 2 weeks like that, as you can see. I know the photo's a little bit dark, but yeah. And then, of course, there's the terrorist look. I think it kind of speaks for itself. But, and oddly enough, that one on the right is actually my current passport photo. So obviously, before I go to the States or Sweden, I think I will be getting a new passport. And then there was the day, this was me flatting in Palmerston North, that I woke up and thought, hey, why not, let's just go and get blue hair. And so I did. And again, just to backtrack a little bit, this is me at about 16 or 18, just I guess my own experiences of fatherhood, just with my youngest brother Luke. Just thought I'd throw it in there for what it's worth. And then came along the good old prednisone days at about 6 months into uni when I was about just over 18. They sort of thought, although we were still not 100% sure on that one, that I got aspergillus just as a one-off thing. I mean, I've never had it before and I haven't had it since, so we don't actually know for sure. But I got put on prednisone and I ended up being on it for about 2 years in total, and in quite high dose for the majority of the time. And I actually became addicted to it at one point, so much so that, I even remember going back and begging old Dr. Watson in Palmerston North, I'm sure some of you know who he is, actually begging him to write me out a script to put the dosage back up because I just couldn't handle coming off the stuff. So it was a real battle. It took me, I think, the best part of a year to actually completely come down off it, just because I'd been on such high dose for so long. And as you can see, it certainly fattened me up a bit. This was, probably only 3 or 4 months into it. And that's me at about 81 kgs, which is the heaviest I've ever been. Obviously, the shoulders aren't quite sticking out there like they have at some point, because I certainly had plenty of weight on me, but hey, I was still having fun. I had all the energy in the world, which, of course, the steroids like to do for you. And as I say, I finally came off it a little while later and, slimmed back down a bit. Lost quite a bit of muscle, unfortunately, because that does happen. The side effect of some of the side effects of the prednisone being the thinning of your bones and your muscle mass from the inside out. And then there's just some fun times I've had with my car in recent years. When I was living in Wellington in 2003, I joined up with the National Skyline Club and have taken my car around a couple of racetracks since and had a lot of fun with that, as you do. So, I've actually been a financial member of that for, since about 2003, I think, although They haven't been quite as active the last few years, and my car probably needs a little bit more work on it to become track-worthy again. But no, it's still a lot of fun anyway. And yeah, this photo, well, this was, at the end of 2003, as you can see, when I was 21, and I had quite a big crash. Sort of the end of November, I was less than 50 kgs walking into hospital, and when you're 6 foot tall, that's not a hell of a lot of body weight, obviously. And I was in ICU and on BiPAP for 3 or 4 days, something like that, give or take. And they just generally weren't expecting me to make it. And unfortunately, that's not the first time that, not the only time that I've been in that position, but this is probably the worst one anyway. But yeah, after about a month total in hospital, I got out finally, and of course I had to have I had a peg and port put in about a week or so into being in there, because it was kind of a case of, well, if I didn't have them, I wasn't going to make it, but at the same time, they actually didn't want to do the operation because, well, it didn't look like I was going to be able to survive the operation anyway. But having said that, came out of the operation, and much to Mum's surprise and relief, I was sitting up and waving to her coming out of the what do you call it, where you've been in recovery. That's the one. So yeah, because otherwise they were pretty much expecting me to come out on, full life support and whatnot, just because of how frail I was. But yeah, thankfully that went all well. It did take us, it took Mum quite a bit of toing and froing to actually get the docs to do it. But for some reason they were actually silly enough to give Mum their cell phone numbers, so she was able to. Yeah, that's right. She was able to get on them and tell them it needed to be done. So they were actually managed to put both the peg and the port in at the same time, and so I didn't have to go under twice or anything, because obviously once was risky enough. But this slide is basically the day I got home, which was a couple of days before Christmas, and although I could barely stand, any time I did I pretty much fell over. And as I say, I'm still under 50 kgs at this point. But I'd gotten this exercise bike. I'd order it through a mail order catalogue a little bit beforehand, and I was just that determined to get it put up that I spent all day crawling around the floor, and I got it done. And although this photo is an older one before the digital age, and it was scanned into the computer, hopefully you can see just the determination in my eyes at that point, because, yeah, that was about the gist of it. It was, hey, I'm fighting back, I'm coming back, I'm not letting this beat me down again. But as I say, this photo here was, taken the same day, and just to, at this point, to be able to actually stand up and have that photo taken was a case of stand up, have it taken quickly, and pretty much fell down again, just because of how frail I was. But a few months before that, I had my 21st, which was a lot of fun. Although, as you can see, I'm still looking a little bit pale on it and quite thin. But nevertheless, it was an Export Gold birthday. We had yellow and black balloons, and obviously there was only one kind of beer on tap, whether people liked it or not. But no, that was a good fun, and of course the birthday cake. And of course I sent that into Export Gold about a month later, and between that and my email address, which is the Church of Export Gold.